What happens when nature breaks its own rules? When sacred objects vanish from locked temples? When hundreds of bodies appear at 16,000 feet with no explanation for how they died? India. 3 small towns. 3 mysteries that science, religion, and history cannot solve. Jatinga, Assam. Every year, during specific months, at the exact same time, dusk, birds commit mass suicide. They dive from the sky, crashing into buildings, dying on impact. Scientists have studied this for decades. No species does this. No environmental trigger explains it. Yet it happens. Every year. Like clockwork. A century-old Ganesha temple in Tamil Nadu. The deity's sacred marble eye, guarded, locked, worshipped daily, vanished overnight. No break-in. No theft recorded. No explanation offered. The eye simply ceased to exist. Roopkund Lake, Uttarakhand. 16,000 feet above sea level. A glacier melts. Underneath, hundreds of human skeletons. Different time periods. Different causes of death. No settlements nearby. No records of battles. No explanation for why they're all there. 3 regions. 3 impossible events. Experts arrived. Investigations were launched. Theories proposed. Nothing fits. Tonight, we're examining 3 Indian mysteries where the evidence is undeniable, the locations are real, and the answers don't exist. Watch closely, because sometimes the mystery isn't what happened. It's why no one can explain it. In the remote village of Jatinga, Dima Haseo district, Assam, nature behaves in ways science cannot fully explain. Every year, during September to November, a strange phenomenon unfolds at dusk. Hundreds of birds, from multiple species, dive straight from the sky, striking rooftops, walls, and the ground. Witnesses describe it as a fall rather than normal flight, leaving many birds dead or stunned. The event is highly predictable. It happens at roughly the same time each evening, under similar weather conditions. Ornithologists confirm that no other species worldwide displays such coordinated, fatal behavior. The first detailed reports emerged in the 1960s, catching the attention of researchers and local residents alike. Teams from the Bombay Natural History Society conducted extensive field observations, documenting the species affected, flight patterns, and environmental factors. Despite decades of study, no single explanation fully accounts for the phenomenon. Theories abound. Disorientation due to fog, magnetic anomalies, panic induced by lights, or even unknown environmental triggers. None explain the precision. Birds dive almost like clockwork during the same months, and at the same time every evening. Locals recall walking among dozens of fallen birds, a haunting reminder that this is not random. Visitors and birdwatchers flock to Jatinga, hoping to witness this eerie spectacle firsthand. Scientists continue their studies, yet the mystery endures. Each autumn, the skies darken as birds descend in silent, tragic arcs. The repeated nature of the event challenges conventional biology and leaves observers questioning how nature can act with such inexplicable coordination. Jatinga's bird fall remains one of India's strangest and most enduring natural mysteries, a place where observation is certain, explanation is absent, and nature itself seems to break its own rules. Beyond the spectacle itself, what makes Jatinga's bird fall so unsettling is the consistency and scale of the phenomenon. Villagers describe streets covered with stunned or dead birds, wings bent awkwardly, eyes glazed, bodies strewn across rooftops and courtyards. The fallen include species like drongos, flycatchers, and warblers, birds that otherwise migrate safely across the region. Local guides warn visitors to tread carefully, not just because of the physical obstacles, but because the scene carries an almost palpable sense of unease. Scientific observations have recorded patterns in the bird's descent. They dive from high altitudes in near silence, without circling or fluttering. Investigators note that fog, wind, and artificial light may play a role, but none of these factors fully account for the precision timing or why multiple species are affected simultaneously. Even decades of monitoring by the Bombay Natural History Society and other experts have failed to provide a definitive answer. The phenomenon also leaves broader questions unanswered. Why does it occur only in this small village? Why has it continued for decades without deviation? And why do the birds show no signs of warning behavior, as they normally would in response to environmental threats? As the sun sets over Jatinga each year, the village becomes a stage for this inexplicable event, nature acting with eerie precision, yet leaving no true explanation. Researchers continue to study the patterns, while locals maintain oral accounts of the event, blending observation with generations of folklore. From these forests of Assam, we now move south to Tamil Nadu, to a century-old Ganesha temple where the sacred marble eye vanished overnight. a mystery that, unlike the bird fall, involves human guardianship, ritual, and devotion. Here, another small-town phenomenon defies both logic and expectation. In Tamil Nadu, a small town hides a century-old mystery within its sacred walls. The Ganesha temple, built over 100 years ago, houses a marble statue of the deity, revered by generations of worshippers. Its details are meticulous: carved tusks, intricate jewelry, and eyes inlaid with polished marble, one of which has drawn the attention of devotees for decades. One morning, temple priests discovered that the sacred marble eye had vanished. There were no signs of forced entry, no broken doors, no evidence of theft. Cameras, if present, were decades too new to provide insight. Devotees confirmed that the temple had been locked overnight, with no unusual activity reported. The eye, polished, sacred, and carefully guarded, had simply disappeared. Local authorities investigated thoroughly. Temple records and neighborhood accounts were reviewed. Security measures were tightened. Yet there were no leads, no suspects, no explanation. Devotees, both local and visiting, report an uneasy stillness in the temple since the disappearance. Some claim the missing eye left a subtle imbalance in the statue, a symbolic void that is impossible to ignore. Scholars, historians, and even police officers have studied the case. Suggestions range from a meticulously planned theft to the eye being removed for ritual purposes or even a modern prank. None of the explanations fully satisfy the witnesses, who insist the temple has remained sacred and undisturbed for decades. The vanishing of the marble eye is more than an unsolved theft. It represents a mystery that intersects faith, devotion, and the inexplicable, leaving both experts and devotees questioning how something so secure could vanish without trace. From the quiet halls of this Tamil temple, we move north to the Himalayan heights of Uttarakhand, to Roopkund Skeleton Lake, where hundreds of ancient skeletons lie at 16,000 feet, silent witnesses to a tragedy whose cause remains unknown. The disappearance of the Ganesha marble eye left the small town in a state of quiet shock. Priests recount mornings when devotees approached the statue, noticing a subtle emptiness in its gaze. Rituals continued, offerings were made, but many insist the temple's atmosphere had shifted, as if the eye had carried not just polish and stone, but presence itself. Authorities explored every possibility. Neighbors were interviewed. Local law enforcement examined entrances, walls, and ceilings. There were no signs of forced entry, no fingerprints, no footprints. Temple records and lock logs confirmed the sanctum had remained sealed overnight. Scholars of religious art inspected the statue for structural weaknesses, yet nothing could explain the sudden disappearance. Devotees and witnesses speak of a strange stillness in the air, a weight that was previously absent. Some claim that attempting to photograph the statue now results in faint anomalies, shadows, glimmers, or reflections that seem almost alive. Others maintain that the missing eye is a metaphorical void, a reminder that even sacred objects are not always immune to mystery. Despite decades of attention, the case remains unresolved. Historians, law enforcement, and visitors alike are left with the same question. How can something so secure, so carefully guarded, vanish without a trace? The temple stands as both a house of devotion and a silent witness to a riddle that challenges logic, faith, and explanation alike. From the marble halls of Tamil Nadu, we journey northward into the Himalayan heights of Uttarakhand. There, at Roopkund Skeleton Lake, hundreds of ancient skeletons rest silently at 16,000 feet. Found beneath melting ice, their presence is inexplicable. No settlements, no battles, no historical records, only evidence of lives lost, and a mystery that science, history, and folklore continue to debate. High in the Himalayas of Uttarakhand, at 16,000 feet, lies Roopkund Lake, a small glacial lake that hides a chilling secret. Beneath its icy surface, hundreds of human skeletons were discovered in 1942 by a forest ranger. Some date back hundreds of years, others more recent. The bones are scattered along the lakebed, their cause of death a mystery. No evidence of settlements, battles, or disease explains why so many people died in such a remote location. Investigations by archaeologists and forensic teams revealed even more puzzling details. Radiocarbon dating suggests the remains are from multiple time periods, indicating that these deaths were not a single event. Skeletons show signs of blunt trauma, yet no weapons were found nearby. Seasonal glacial melt exposes or conceals parts of the remains, creating a ghostly lake that seems to breathe with history. Visitors describe an eerie silence. The lake is small, yet each step across its shores evokes the sensation of being watched. Some claim faint echoes of footsteps or whispers in the wind, though these could also be the natural sounds of shifting ice and rock. The landscape itself, jagged cliffs, sudden snow squalls, and thin mountain air, adds to the unnerving atmosphere. Scientists have proposed theories. Hailstorms, sudden avalanches, or natural disasters may have killed travelers caught unprepared at high altitude. Yet the concentration and distribution of the remains challenge conventional explanations. Why were so many people in the same remote location? Why do some skeletons show trauma while others do not? And why have new remains continued to surface with melting ice? Roopkund Lake is more than a site of tragedy. It is a frozen testament to the unexplained, where evidence exists in abundance, yet explanation remains elusive. From the remote peaks of Uttarakhand, we glimpse a mystery that defies logic, science, and even the harshest realities of mountain survival. The mystery of Roopkund Lake deepens when examining the distribution and condition of the skeletons. Some are arranged in clusters, as if traveling together, while others lie isolated along the icy shores. Forensic analysis indicates blunt force trauma on several skulls, yet no weapons or tools were discovered in the area. Others appear to have died from environmental exposure or injuries consistent with falls, but not all. The variety of causes adds to the enigma. Seasonal melting continues to reveal new remains, reminding visitors that the lake keeps its secrets buried for decades, only to release them unpredictably. Archaeologists and scientists have documented clothing fragments, walking sticks, and remnants of ancient garments, helping date some skeletons to the 9th to 10th centuries, while others are more recent. Yet the overarching question remains: why were these people in this remote, high-altitude location exposed to snowstorms, avalanches, and harsh terrain? Locals tell stories passed down over generations. Whispers of pilgrims or traders caught in sudden calamities, travelers led astray by storms, and occasional tales of spectral figures appearing near the lake. Even without confirmation, these oral traditions mirror the unease visitors feel today. Those who trek near Roopkund describe an oppressive silence, the landscape seeming almost to mourn its long-dead occupants. Scientific explanations, hailstorms, sudden avalanches, and unexpected glacial shifts, offer plausible death scenarios, but they cannot fully account for the number, arrangement, and repeated discovery of remains over centuries. The evidence is undeniable, yet the narrative remains incomplete. Roopkund Lake, frozen and remote, stands as a place where the natural and the inexplicable meet. Each exposed skeleton, each fragment of clothing, each whisper of wind across the ice raises more questions than it answers, leaving the mystery alive, compelling, and profoundly haunting. Jatinga, Assam. The birds still fall from the sky every September. Scientists still have no answer. The Ganesha temple in Tamil Nadu. The marble eye remains missing. No theft. No trace. No closure. Roopkund Lake, Uttarakhand. The skeletons rest at 16,000 feet. DNA tested. Carbon dated. Cause of death? Still debated. 3 small towns across India. 3 mysteries that have defeated ornithologists, archaeologists, historians, and investigators. Here's what connects them. They shouldn't be mysteries anymore. We have technology. We have expertise. We have evidence. But the birds keep dying on schedule. The ice stays gone. The skeletons don't reveal their story. Some mysteries aren't unsolved because we lack evidence. They're unsolved because the evidence makes no sense. Have you been to Jatinga during bird fall season? Visited the temple with the missing eye? Trekked to Roopkund? Drop your experience below. Locals know details outsiders never hear. Share this with someone from Assam, Tamil Nadu, or Uttarakhand. They grew up with these stories. They know they're real. Subscribe to WhisprFrame for more documented mysteries from India's small towns where experts arrive and leave with more questions than answers. Because some mysteries don't want to be solved. They want to remain impossible. Jatinga's birds will fall again next September. The temple eye is still missing. Roopkund's dead are still waiting. And India's small towns? They're keeping more secrets than these 3. Which mystery will you investigate next?